we are not just going to have the panelists doing all of the talking. Everyone seated here have the right to ask questions, wherever or whatever confusion you have. Because I actually have a lot of questions for them. Because I'm not going to lie, startups, oof, they don't really like sit well with me. So you're free to ask whatever question it is on marketing, finance, even down to structure, because we know that is actually one of the key deficiency startup actually lacks. Now I'm going to call on Sam Esau to briefly introduce himself and tell us about his startup stories, startup audios, and then we throw questions at him. Please put your hands together for Sam Esau.
Hi everyone. Yeah, nice making our acquaintances. Okay, so let me just start by saying this. I actually want to let you know that many of you here, you may not know this, but somebody that you're sitting close to, somebody beside you is likely your co-founder tomorrow, or your investor or your customer. I'm here speaking about marketing, trust me, and that is how it has worked for me. Like even how I even met Debo, it was at an event. I went for an event, and I and Debo, we've had a magnificent, angelic, divine relationship. Those of you that know our story. So, but let me just start by saying like this. So, speaking about the startup story you talked about, myself, I was an introvert, right? You know, these shy people that like to stay indoors. You don't come out. You hardly see me. I don't even post on social media and all that. But if you now ask yourself, if you're doing this type of thing, then how do you go about making money? How do people discover you, right? That's a big question, right? So, thankfully, we have platforms like LinkedIn, right? So, there was a when I now started taking my LinkedIn serious, that was when things started to change. I'm not talking about Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I'm dead there. I don't exist. But you see that LinkedIn, I just went one day and I actually upgraded my profile. Just wrote one or two things about what I do because I've learned copywriting actually. So when you want to write, you want to let people know what problem you solve for them. So I was able to put some write-up in a way about what I do. Then I started blogging as well. So blogging on our blog, techassembly/post. I was talking about economics and fintech, right? Then while I was there, before I know it, one day, one startup in Nigeria just reached out to me. They came to my DM. I didn't go hunting for them. They said they want me to join their team. They've checked out my profile. Of course, you know, LinkedIn is like your CV, right? They see your past work experiences. LinkedIn has opened a lot of doors for a lot of people. Trust me, if you're not taking it serious, go and start taking it serious now. Let Instagram rest, except you're selling food. I'm not saying Instagram is bad though, please. But when it comes to professional networking, right? So LinkedIn helped. They reached out and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna work together. Before you know, Zenith Bank has given us like 2 million naira say for what we're building that time. We're called X-Card Banking. You can Google us up. Then we did some other thing. Before you know, FCMB has funded us and we got a free workspace and we're doing things like that, right? Then it wasn't too long. I kept writing. I kept doing these things. Before you know, one company, Minklist, from their New York base, right? They reached out. They wanted me to be a software engineer. But when they went out, because I started as a software engineer, you know, there's this joke people say that once you start writing software code, you become abnormal. I don't know if you heard about it. That software engineers are organized madmen. You're not more normal, you're a weirdo. So I used to be like a weirdo, right? So they reach out and like saying, okay, they want to hire me as an engineer. But while they were looking at my profile, they helped me even discover myself. They said, dude, you're better off in marketing. Something like that. They saw what I was doing and they saw my passion. My GitHub, I'm not posting code there, but I spend a lot of time writing and designing. You know, in Nigeria, when you start up, you're like a Swiss knife. Only you, your accountant, only your marketer, only you, your coder. You're doing almost everything yourself. It's not easy, right? So because of all these struggles, I had to learn a lot of skills in between, right? So eventually, that was how I joined their marketing team and I eventually learned a lot from them, like a lot, just like school. It's remote work, but it was a privilege to even work with those guys. And I think later soon I can speak more later, right? After now or what? Okay. Okay, so then there's this thing I've actually learned. So let me say it's a mistake too. Like, so earlier when we started, I used to have this habit of always talking about our brand or what we do. It was all about, usually about us, we. But you can go and Google this out. You can Google SB7 story framework, SB7 story brand, yeah, something like that. So it's about telling your brand story. It's about making your customers the hero. And one thing that we don't do when we are starting our business is, first and foremost, we don't really understand our target audience. Like me, for example, what we do at Tech Assembly, trust me, our target audience is here. Even what Crypto Nights does, Crypto Night target audience is here. So once you understand your target audience, there's what we call a persona. You can create a persona and start from their pain points. What are their frustrations? And I've seen that many times we rush to just go ahead and start a business. I think starting with a community first is very important. You want to build community, you want to build relationship. You just meet me, like you just met me today, and you're telling me that I should give you 10 million naira to build app for me when I don't know you before. How? Why? Do you have street cred? That's what we call street cred. And these days, if you want to build street cred, you have to go to people who actually care about you. And people that actually care about you are people that have actually related with you. They will trust you, right? It's not easy to trust people. So you have to take time to actually build relationship, build community. And when you've also built your community, when you're having conversation with them, the next two things you want to do is, one, you find out their problem. Two, you now begin to educate them about how your solution will solve their problem, but put it in form of a guide. Let it be a guide. Give them a clear plan. So at Tech Assembly, that's what we are doing now. So we have what we call iCamp. That's innovation camp, actually. We love iPhone and iTunes and all that. So we like the word iCamp. So everybody's doing boot camp, but one is like innovation camp. And recently, Kryptonite NG sponsored an ultimate guide to content creation where we're teaching, actually. And from there, though last year we actually started teaching on software engineering as well, and we have a couple of students that are actually ready, who has even gotten a job. In fact, today or maybe tomorrow, actually, I'm going to actually even transfer money to one of those students, actually. But here's the catch. Our promise is this. We are not telling you we want to make you have skill. It's job. So let's look at our targets for when it comes to upskilling, right? We are saying that we are saying we want to make you 80% hireable globally, like more hireable. Because there was a time that a foreign firm reached out to us that they needed developers. We went to dev centers. For those of you that are familiar with coding, there's this platform called dev centers. A lot of developers are there, and we put an ad that people should come and to enroll for this job, right? We paid money. Then we got a lot of people. I think we had people from some top major banks and all. And by the time we handed over these guys to this Oyibo to interview, we noticed that they didn't select anybody. So I pushed forward to try to know. And we now realize something, that there's also a cultural fitness issue. Some people don't know. Some people don't fit into some of the cultures these foreign organizations have. So we learned about it. So what we try to do in iCamp is also try to train you on this cultural fitness, and also tell you how to improve on your LinkedIn profile as well. Then, interestingly, just recently we had a partnership with a firm that is responsible for placing talents globally. So we don't need to have HR people that are placing talent. So the challenge for us now is there's demand, is supply. We need so much engineers. Like the amount of engineers this company is asking for, we don't even have that number yet. So it's we really, 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 really need to get it, and I'm hoping we'll get some from this event as well. You understand? So this is one of the things we've also come to understand, that when it comes to this marketing, it's a constant journey of learning the pain points of the community. What are they going through? What is their problem? And looking for ways to solve it. And for me, this is one of the things that have been helping us. So that's what I have to say on that for now. Yeah.
Okay, Sam. Now there's this viral statement that actually pops up whenever marketing is mentioned. Now, they say the best way to assure a successful new product or a successful new product launch is through marketing. So I want you to tell us how true that statement is.
The best way to sorry, come again.
The best way to assure a successful new product launch is through marketing. How true is that statement?
Okay, let us put it like this. Let us say 50-50, right? And this is why I'm saying so. You know, there are cases whereby people have launched product and you did not blow. You can just come up with an app. It's exciting. You rush. You start spending 10 million naira, putting billboards or running marketing campaign. It doesn't always work that way. Let me just tell us why. There's what we call the early adopters. The early adopters are people who actually care about your product. I think you want to use your energy on those set of people. Let me give you an example. It's going to be very, very foolish for we at Tech Assembly in this iCamp, for example, to just say that we want to go and start running ads on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and the likes, right? That, hey, just come and join our school. Just like we've tried it before. 30,000 people saw our ad. Only one person paid money. You can imagine. And out of that 30,000 people, only 200 and something even clicked the link and they didn't pay. We don't have street cred. Like, I would like to say street cred is very important. If nobody knows you, you're nothing. So how do we increase our chance of success? Like coming to places like this to come and have conversation. You may, like I'll tell you, even if you're a startup, you can spend 100,000 on doing events for your community. It's worth it. Go and spend 100,000 on running ads. After you've burned 50K, you'll be having some thought. I'm not saying ads are not effective. Okay, look at Sterling Bank, for example. Sterling Bank, they're incredibly smart, right? Sterling Bank is the owner of this place. I've come here before. Do you know how many Sterling Bank ads I've seen on the screen, for example, and so many things. So there are other approaches to doing this thing when you want to launch your product, right? So, just like in warfare, we have what we call guerrilla warfare. In marketing, there's what we call inbound marketing, whereby you try as much as possible to educate the audience, try to, I said your target, your community, you try to make their life better by educating them, by telling them something that will add value, make them a better person. Over time, you begin to earn their trust. So I think that is one way to go about it. It's not a rush thing. Then, okay. Have I even answered that question? Really?
Has he answered your question? He hasn't answered. We'd actually come back to it because you're just going turning around, turning on your own. I don't Okay, one of our panelists is around, and he's the founder and chief marketing officer of SEO Giddy. He has a decade of expertise in product marketing for SaaS, B2B, and other digital companies. His experience cuts across fintech, digital media, e-commerce, and many more. So, with a resounding round of applause, please let's welcome Wale Oduwole. I don't know if I said that right. Wale Oduwole. Let's welcome him. Thank you so much for coming late. Okay, would you like to briefly introduce yourself? I don't think I did justice to what I actually saw here. I just didn't want to bore people, so I think you should actually do that.
I'm Wale Oduwole, the founder of SEO Giddy Technologies. I've been pretty much in the startup space for 5 years now, and then let me just say I'm also building just like everyone here is trying to build, but I think experience is what makes the difference. So that is why we are here also, I believe.
Okay, let's not forget, we're actually in between finance, marketing, and operations. So our questions should cut around, the three spheres that I mentioned. Now, Wale, you'll be discussing on finance. I don't know if that's comfortable. Okay. You're smiling too much. Okay, now, straight up. How do we come up with figures investors demand for startups in Africa?
I think the thing is that the most important part of it is that you have to be honest. because I see a lot of people get themselves in troubles by inflating figures, by coming up with something that is not obtainable, that is not even achievable, and also what you're not generating, with the hope that once they see the figures, they'll want to invest, or they'll really want to do business with you. The ground should be, the basis should be you putting your money in the right place first. What they want to see is, how do you spend your own money? Because if you can't spend your own money judiciously, how would you spend someone else's money? If you understand what I mean. So basically you have to think of what to do with your money first. How to go with your money first before you think of getting money from your investors. Because at the end of the day, they want to see what you've done for yourself. And when it comes to progression as well, in terms of how you see your business, in let's say if you receive 20% of what you're projecting, or let's say 100% of what you're projecting, what exactly do you want to do with the money? So you should have a scale-up idea. You should have the things that you really want to expand on. Do you intend to purchase more inventories, machineries, or do you intend to employ more skilled people to work with you? Or the basic thing is that, what are you spending your money on actually? Because if you're spending your money on the wrong reasons, definitely your investors won't believe in whatever it is you're doing. So you should have a scale-up idea. So I don't know if I'm able to answer your question.
Now, speaking about money, that actually caught my interest. What's your story? What's your startup story?
Okay. For me, I would say startup wasn't the thing actually, because it's just a business. Just like every other business, you start from the physical market to the online market, and I started as a developer and a website developer. So I would design a website for just I'm talking about when I was an undergraduate. I was designing a website for businesses and a couple of schools, and this long ASU strike came, I think 2013, and I was home and I wasn't really doing much, and I felt like, man, where is this business going to be coming from? How will I sustain myself and whatever it is I was doing at that point in time? Then I started reaching out to schools. I started moving to businesses, hotels, and every other places. You know what I would do? I would go to probably the Facebook page, or I would check the services, and I would sort of create a demo in terms of a website. Let me just say I've already designed a website, a prototype that there is detail about the business, and I'll take it to them. And I'll tell them 1,001 reasons why they need a website. And to be candid, 99.9% of them love the idea. And let me just say 40% only went further with the idea. The rest, talk about the money, and they were like, but we don't have a budget for this now. And at the end of the day, I would just go ahead with the ones that get accepted the proposal. And it got to a point where sometimes, out of passion, I would just feel like, you know what, whatever you have, just bring it. I think you need this website. Let's get it done. And that was it. And it got to a point, I received a call from one of those platforms I've worked with, and they were like, you know what, I think you should come on board, and you could just work with our agency, and we would be doing all these things under an umbrella. And which makes more sense, because they have more client base, and the gigs were coming in, just like you will call it now. They were coming in, and I felt like I wanted more. And at a point in time, there was this. Let me talk about the startup journey. It got to a point I was able to tell the story more than anyone, because I was involved in the production process, which is the web development process, or maybe the part of the technical team. So when they need to market a product there, or they need to speak about what we've done, I'm always the one doing the talking. And it got to me that it seems I know how to tell the story, tell the journey more than any other person. And they were pushing me to be at the marketing front, and I wasn't really feeling it, because I thought it was too basic. just like anyone would say, digital marketing. What's digital marketing? It's enough for you to just know how Facebook works, so Twitter works, and social media work, and the whole thing like that. But understanding the technicality and how a tech product can be sold in the market, or you can sell a tech product to someone is really not an easy task, because you should be part of the process. So me being part of the process sort of made it easier for me to be able to tell the story, and I founded my own startup, which is about SEO Giddy, which is to scale up other businesses. So the reason why I came up with that startup, SEO Giddy, is basically because there are companies or there are businesses that don't even know the right people for their business in terms of people to handle every aspect, talking about marketing, talking about operations, talking about, just like you mentioned, finance, pretty much everything we are discussing here. So what we do at SEO Giddy is that we allocate a team to you. So you don't really need to employ people for your work. Sorry, I'm trying to advertise now, but that's not it. So you don't really need to employ people to do the job for you. All you need to do is have your idea, have your product, and we create the best team to manage everything from you, even if it has to be remotely, because you don't really need to have a space of your own. We understand that it's a challenge for people to always get the right team, to build the right team. But we understanding what every digital product or what every tech product needs, we've been able to project a certain members you need, or certain team that you need for your business to be operational, which is pretty much what we do. So we have people sign up, we have professionals sign up as freelancers on our platform. So all these guys that are on Fiverr, they are on Upwork, we've been able to create more of a stable stream of income for them. So they work directly. I mean, of course, it has to be on some certain hourly basis. So they've been able to work directly with these businesses that we've onboarded. So my idea has always been to just have a seamless way of operating a business and scaling up possibly. So
thank you very much. Mr. Sam Esau, this is your cue. Please, you can collect the mic. Now, we'll still come back to that question you were unable to answer. Now, speaking about structure, like I said earlier, structure is, I call it deficiency, because that is like when you talk to any Nigerian person out there that's experienced, the whole blah blah of startup, structure is always the problem. So so the question is, what type of system or structure is good? Let's start with non-funded, because non-funded startups are always the problem. Because if there's actually an avenue for funds, we won't be having issues of structure, what is and what's not. So what type of structure or system is good for a non-funded founder operating solo?
Okay, as a non-funded solo founder
you're also
myself,
non-funded.
I have been for a very long time,
this.
but recently it's no more the case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
You
recent. We now have partners. Okay, so I noticed one thing. I think first and foremost, it's the caliber of people we start with, right? I think we want people who are extremely passionate about what you are doing. So if you look at yourself as a founder on something, take for instance, if you want to start digital marketing and you're a business guy, the person that's supposed to be working with you, the next staff that's supposed to be very strong with you, is more like a technical co-founder or worker who is an expert in that marketing field. You need somebody to complement your weakness. If you're very timid, like you're like me, shy, just find a business development person. It's just because I think one thing that helps this thing is self-awareness. As a founder, it's very important to know yourself, and I think that helps you as well. Then it depends. Now, if you want to now go and raise funds, if you're at that stage, one of the key components you may need, if you cannot do it yourself, you may need a marketing research analyst. Because when these investors start asking you about things like TAM, total available market, serviceable available market, and SOM, serviceable obtainable market, all those orishi grammar, to calculate those things, sometimes you have to go and do deep market research. Like I've had to go and do those things myself recently, so that we don't have to pay those guys, and you start going to websites like Statista and Co to go and be bringing out those numbers and putting in the Excel sheet or whatnot. So at different stage, you are going to need different kind of people. So it depends on the stage. But one thing I know, you need people that can stay awake all night to do the work. It's not people that will say that, I'm 5 to 5 a.m. As a solo founder, you know you don't sleep. See, most of us, like me, my eye go inside a lot because I hardly sleep. So I think that is one of the things. You just need to have people that are almost as passionate as you, that are willing to give up their blood, sweat, and tears. I don't mean it literally, but you know what I mean, right? So I think that's what makes that first structure. That's the culture. It's not about having this bureaucracy stuff that Oga has to approve. Go and remove one file from cabinet. There's Google Sheet for Christ's sake. There's WhatsApp. Why not just be having your meeting on WhatsApp? Just start like that. The key thing is communication. And lastly, I feel that at the early stage, you don't need too many people to bring in too many arguments, because too many people having a meeting. This one will bring his opinion. This one will bring your opinion. You guys will not spend 10 hours. Look at big organizations like Ernest & Young, EY, KPMG, and the likes. They spend hours in meeting, and it's very important because those meetings is what will help them save costs in the future. They are having arguments so that they can reduce, they can mitigate risk, right? So I've actually answered the question, I know, right? I have, right? So, because that your look. So, I mean, let me not say much. That's all I have to say for now on that.
Okay, Wale, do you have anything to add to the structure part? You should actually, not do you. You should have something to add.
Oh, okay. I think from what he has said, actually, the most important part is on knowing the team you're setting up, because when you're coming up with a structure, you need to have your goals set, and you need people that are aligned with the goals to kickstart, because the structure that you have in place from your onset will actually determine your early growth, because no matter how you want to see it, they are the ones driving your business, kickstarting your business. So the other angle that I would just want to add is also talking about the costs, what you are spending. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of startups rather, starting with that kind of high burn rates, and at the end of the day, they believe that the business failed. But you realize that someone in the next 1 year will come up with the same business idea and everything that you're doing, and is going to get it right. So it still boils down to one thing. If you want to spend your money, you have to be judicious with it. So that little money you have, or maybe, I don't know, probably, there are people that sell off one business to kickstart another business. So you might be fortunate to even have a substantial amount of money, to pump into in your early days of your startup. So you have to be judicious with it. So one thing I need to make you all understand is also the fact that before you can attract an investor, you need to have done well for yourself. I don't know if that makes any sense, because your idea might be really interesting. Don't get me wrong. It's not like even your product might just be the product that is perfect for the market. But you need this push. You need to be able to hold on to something and get to the point where everyone is just beyond convinced that this business is promising. This startup is promising. The growth propensity, everything is just there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wale.
Good evening. My name is Yusuf Balogun, but then I go by the stage name Aremo Gemini. And yeah, I write poetry, I perform poetry, and tonight I'll be performing in 2 languages. I'll be performing 2 poems in 2 different languages, English and my native tongue, Yoruba. When the Yorubas want to report a child to the elders, they use his father's name. When they want to report the child to the gods, they use his mother's name. Care to know why? See, it takes a god to recognize another god. I know history has never been kind to our women. Our women, pioneers, victims of wars, but they always end up in the black book as housewives and honey mistresses. But listen, woman, if only you will listen, daughter. The bloodline of your mothers are gallant warriors. They are legends, powerful enough to have beaten meanings out of the hand of life. They are women, powerful enough to have beaten essence out of the hand of life. Do you even know that the bloodline of your mothers are the most beautiful beings to ever walk through the earth's surface? See, I know you are a woman, but that doesn't make you a lesser human. So don't let them bring to you their gong of bad luck. Preaching the gospel of females are weak. Women are subtle, their bones cannot break walls, not even doors will creak. Dear woman, listen, you are a coat of many colors. Do not allow people who have never seen rainbows teach you how to be beautiful. You are slim, you are fat, you have oversized baggage and stop. Do not listen to them. They are merely scared of the powers that reside within you. You must refuse to inherit the silence of your foremothers. See, a woman's contribution to the home is unmistakable. She effortlessly infuses beauty into these walls with every of her touch and words and actions. I dare you think how much more magic she would create, giving this universe of fast, enchanting planet to work with. Dear woman, the universe is your home. You do not have to change a thing about yourself. The world should rather change its spectacle. They said your mothers are witches. So up on those wings and fly so high, far beyond their limited vision. Never ever forget that you are a deity too powerful to be described in just 2 minutes. Thank you. Ọjọ́ òun rèé bí àná tá a sì àmọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ ilé ọkọ. Àfilépọn tí àfọ̀nà òrùka àwọn ará ọ̀run kínkín gan gbúrò àwọ̀. Mẹ́bọ́jọ́ òun rèé bí àná tá a fi jó òun ayọ̀ sí àmọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ ilé ọkọ. Bàbá pé bówó Èdùmàrè kó bọ́kùnrin àbíró. Yèyé pé bówó òṣòkè kó bóbìnrin àbíyè. Ìyá pé kó mórí lọ kó má ṣe mẹ́wàá lọ. Nítorí orí ní í ṣe ni tá a fi dádí owó. Orí ní í ṣe ni tá a fi tẹ̀pá lẹ̀kẹ̀ wọjà. Orí náà ní í ṣe ni tá a fi lo mọ́sáàjì aṣọ ọba tí ń tanná yanranyanran. Orí kúkú bá mọ̀kẹ́ ṣe ó bọ́kùnrin àbíró. Ìṣẹ̀dá ń bá mọ̀kẹ́ ṣe ó bóbìnrin àbíyè. Òòṣà òkè ó sì má pọnmọ fọlọ́mọ ọmọ èkú pẹ́ dàgbà. Lọ́jọ́ wo la bọ́lọ́mọ jíjú ayọ̀nà táriwo ẹkún tún ti sọ gèè lọ́dọ̀dẹ̀ alámọ̀kẹ́. Kò wé èké lọ́gànjọ́ àwòdì wọlé kò gbòòrò mọ́dìyẹ. Odidi èèyàn làwòdì gbé lọ káàsà olówó orí àmọ̀kẹ́ làwòdì gbé lọ láì gbèsùbẹ̀gbà. Ìfẹ́ lágbára ikú lágídí. Ìfẹ́ sùn wọn lọ́pọ̀ ikú òwúlẹ̀ bìkítà ẹnìkan sẹ́nìkan. Ǹjẹ́ bí kò bá wá kan gógó bí àwùsá? Ǹjẹ́ bí kò bá wá rorò bí ìjogbo ikú àwa pọ́nyé olólùfẹ́ asọ̀tẹ́ ẹ̀fẹ́ di páropáro? Baálé ilé àmọ̀kẹ́ kú àmọ̀kẹ́ pàdánù àlàáfíà òun ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀. Àṣewé ń bẹ lára aṣù là ń bọ̀wọ̀ kọ̀ìnkọ̀ìn. Tìró ti yẹ̀ lójú òkú tí ń jẹrà ń gbòrò káwáì. Ẹbí kẹ́yìn sámọ̀kẹ́ ìlú mòye fún un lóókọ tuntun. Wọ́n gbé keteru yá àkókò wọn pé ó lè fomi wẹ̀rí. Wọ́n pògùn náà mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ fún bóyá iye àjẹ́ tó fi pọkọ rẹ̀ ajẹ́fò lọ. Iná lè ró ògùn ẹ̀jẹ̀ sí ní iye oògùn. Wèrèpè ìjà tí ń bá ní ìjà láì fọwọ́ ọkọ ni. Ẹ gbọ́, lọ́jọ́ wo làá yẹ sọ àwọn obìnrin wa ló kọ àdàmọ̀dì. Lọ́jọ́ wo làá wúyẹ fi wọ́n ṣọfà àṣẹ òun ìṣẹ̀ṣe pálapàla. Ìrun opó ní rọ́gbẹ́ ẹ̀fẹ́. Ìrun opó ní rọ́gbẹ́ ìpáyín keke. Ìrun opó ní sọ májàmọ́ aṣọ òun ṣe tí ò ṣe gbọ́ sétí. Ènìyàn tó rí bí wọ́n gbé fọmọdórin tí yóò mà sí rí nǹkan kan. Òní kọ́ làwọn àgbà tí ń wí fún mi páyé lawọ ara ayé ọ̀run sì láṣọ òbóró ọ̀run pẹ̀lú. Àmọ́ kí ni ìtumọ̀ kíkú gbọ́kọ lọ́wọ́ ẹni? Kéníyàn àbáwọ̀ fẹ́lẹ́ bí ẹni tún gba ìkan ìyókù rébété. Bí wọ́n fi dàbọ̀ lẹ́wù tí ń dẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu bí ọ̀ṣọ̀rọ̀. Bí wọ́n fárun lójú ara rẹ̀ fi pẹ̀lú oúnjẹ fún wọn á pé ò gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ kò gbọ́dọ̀ gbin. Ènìyàn tó dánrú ẹ̀ láṣà lọ́jọ́ sí ló da ayé labówó síbàdàn. Wọn á pé kó faradà á bí ó sì lè faradà á kó gbọ́nà ọ̀run lọ. Mélòó nínú àwọn tó pilẹ̀ àṣà náà dọ̀rọ̀dọ̀rọ̀ yìí ló lè fi dánra wò fún ìyá tó bí i lọ́mọ. Wọn á pé ká má sọ̀rọ̀ ẹran lẹ́ran jẹ́ sọ́ra. Afàyàfà kéékèèké lóbìnrin dandan ni kó wáyé wá ṣèwọ̀fà. Mo níṣẹ́ káwọn obìnrin wá kú má lọ́kọ mọ́kọ́ lè gbé láì jẹ̀rora aṣọ òun èèwọ̀ àdàmọ̀dì. Dandan kọ́ nígbéyàwó bó bá jẹ́ tàkúté ìgbẹ̀kùn lẹ́yìn wọ́ ọ̀la ní í ṣe. Lótìtọ́ ìdárò lóró kẹyìn ìfẹ́ àmọ́ kí ni ìtumọ̀ kíkú gbọ́kọ lọ́wọ́ ẹni kẹ́nìyàn àbáwọ̀ fẹ́lẹ́ bí ẹni tún gba ìkan ìyókù rébété. Ta ló jẹ̀bi? Ènìyàn àbíkú mọ̀lẹ́bí tí òwúlẹ̀ béèrè ẹni lọ́gbọ̀n ọdún sẹ́yìn arabe tí ajá àsọnù wá. Wọn á sọ ọmọdẹrú nílé bàbá wọn. Wọn á sọ ìyàwó dàjèjì nílé ọkọ rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú. Wọn á máa fọwọ́ lalẹ̀ lórí ilé onílẹ̀. Wọn á pé kí bàbá òkè ìjágbó wá sùn lọ́pọ̀ nítorí obìnrin ò mọ́mọ́ tọ́. Obìnrin ò sì mọ́lé tò bí ò sí lọ́dọ̀ ọkùnrin. Àfi bí ipóbìnrin ọ̀hún náà kọ́ ní dáyé rẹ̀ gbé láti ìgbà wáṣẹ̀. Àmọ̀kẹ́ bó o bá kọ̀ tó dìde fùyà okùn èpè yóò ní láéláé já lórí rẹ̀. Ǹjẹ́ irú ègún ọjọ́ ọ̀la sọ́mi sọ́kàn yìí wá jẹ́ bí àjogúnbá rere fọ́mọ ẹni? Àmọ̀kẹ́yìndé ojó bí iná ọnú agbádá, àmọ̀kẹ́yìndé bí òòrùn òwúrọ̀. Àlà ni ó fòkó ọ̀lẹ́wọ̀n, òní ni kò ní dọ̀la. Ìràwé tó dájọ́ ọ̀lẹ̀kẹ̀ tú sókè. Àmọ̀kẹ́ ò tágìrì, odò ń gbárèrè. Àmọ̀kẹ́ tágìrì.
That was intense. That was intense. And thank you for reminding me how beautiful I am. No matter what anyone has to say, thank you for that.